Hello, white people. All right, so this morning I had a curiosity. I was wondering who is funding all of the chaos that we see in our world today? The politicians, the media, the riots, everything. Who's funding this? And a lot of times we'll hear that George Soros is funding the riots. And I did a little bit of research, and it looks like, from what I've read, that, and I mean, I still have to do some more digging, and I don't think it's true. But from what I've read, George Soros is anti-central bank, and he's fighting against the central banks. And it says that he made all his money when he bet against the English pound, and the pound dropped, and whatever. I mean, that's just a retarded cover story. All these stories that we hear are cover stories, and we see this person that that looks a little reptilian, humanoid, and they say he's George Soros. And all these rioters, they have their check stubs say the George Soros Foundation. And a lot of the politicians, they'll be they'll get some sort of a scholarship when they were in college from the George Soros, something like that. But the name Soros has its fingers in a lot of places. But does this mean that there's actually a George Soros? Or does this or is there a possibility that there's just one group of people, like the central banks, that are behind all of the misery? I mean, all right, so now let's look at the politicians. And I know a lot of people like Trump, and I'm going to burst their bubble when I say this, but when Trump talks, sometimes he talks about himself in the third person, or he'll say, oh, I did this the greatest, or, a lot of people, they really like me because I did, X, Y, and Z. And then there's Nancy Pelosi, who mumbles and says all kinds of weird crap. And then Biden says all kinds of weird crap. And then you got Kamala Harris and her cackly laugh. And, and then she's got like one sentence and she shakes her head up and down and she says it like she believes it. It just, these people are paid. And then the media, let's talk about the media too. And this whole election fraud thing. All right, so it's fake, you guys. It's completely fake. And, even though I showed you a couple of videos about it, and Project Veritas, I don't know if Project Veritas is behind, or is their investigative reporting is true, or if it's just more propaganda for the right to have some sort of ammunition to hate the left. I don't know. I'm suspicious about Project Veritas because they've had some people who've challenged them. They've had some court cases or whatever, and the media lies about them. But is this more propaganda? Because, social media will shut you down if you have anything that you're saying that makes sense. And I've known some people personally who get like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and YouTube just completely deletes them. I don't know why, but anyway, I know I'm making people mad when I say that this election fraud thing, this is fake, this is propaganda, and I'll tell you why. It is so that you hate your neighbor. It is to absolutely make you hate your neighbor, and it is so that you will not see what is going on around you. You'll be so distracted by the stress that's in front of your face. I don't know. Did I make my case, you guys? What do you think? Do you think that there's a possibility that I'm going to be able to find any evidence to support my claim? I mean, the central banks, well, I think maybe we know this. Is this true or not true? Somebody will have to help me out with this. Countries that are being destabilized, why are there countries out there that are destabilized? What is going on in those countries that get destabilized? Well, I suspect it's so that they can do organ harvesting and human trafficking. That's me. I don't have any proof of that, but that kind of looks like it. And then, then there's gun running, and it's just a money-making scheme. Somebody is making money from all of this. You have to look and see why. And anyway, so back to hating your neighbor. So I hear a lot of people saying that they're done with these liberals. They're done with people who believe the mainstream media's propaganda narrative. And then you hear the people who believe the mainstream media's propaganda narrative, they hate and they want to kill. Remember that video where I showed you that lady? You are the people history told us about. You know, she's absolutely scared. And then we see people in Portland being executed because they're, you know, they have wrong think, and each side thinks the other side has wrong think. It's pretty ugly, you guys, the amount of hatred that each side has for each other. This is completely manufactured. And I personally don't want to be around anybody who, who thinks Biden is the greatest. And because it seems to me that people who are more on the left, who want, larger government, more authoritarianism, and they're more scary than people who are on the right. Yeah, so people on the right, they believe all kinds of stuff, but they're generally pretty reasonable people on the most part, and sometimes they're not. I don't know what your guys' experience is with that, but so anyway, so it all boils down to there's one group, I swear to you guys, there is one group, and I cannot find the information to back it up, but there's one group, and we can call them the central banks, that is behind all of this chaos, because this one group that controls the central bank, that controls all of our money, that wants to keep us in misery, these are the people creating all this chaos. And so, well, what do we do? Well, we just, I don't know, what do we just keep an eye on it and stay out of harm's way. That's about the best you can do. It's like being prepared for a natural disaster, because, these people are just a disaster. They create chaos and pain. And all right, white people, that's the damage for now. I got a little clip here from TikTok. I hope you enjoy it.